What if I told you that weight loss is just like a video game? You might be a little confused right now, but stick with me here. If you're feeling tired and frustrated because no matter what you do, it just seems like you can't lose the weight that you want, and more importantly, you can't keep it off even when you do, then this video is for you. I'm going to show you how treating weight loss like a video game can help you overcome plateaus, stay more consistent when motivation is low, and finally achieve the energy and confidence that you want, just like me and the other people that have helped. I'm going to be breaking this down into 3 sections: leveling up through small wins, boss battles and personal obstacles, and lastly, farming and side quests. Okay, think about this. When you start a video game, you don't start off at level 100. You have no armors, you have no weapons, you're just naked and afraid. But then you start to level up slowly, you fight bosses, and you grind your way through the boring parts. And then eventually, you become strong enough to win. Weight loss works the exact same way, but a lot of people quit before they even realize that. And I don't want you to be that person anymore. And I know, I'm a huge nerd for comparing weight loss to video games. But what can I say? I am who I am, and we just gotta accept that. And even if you're not into video games, these analogies will make sense, I promise. So number 1, leveling up through small wins. Like I mentioned, you don't just jump straight into trying to defeat the boss. You slowly build up your XP or experience points. And it's the same thing with your habits. How many steps are you taking a day? How much water are you drinking? Are you doing your workouts? Are you getting enough sleep? These things set the foundation for your health. And it's very common for us to want to do so much more than we can handle for our current level. When you're starting this new journey, your motivation is high and you're ready to go and you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to lock in. And a common scenario is that we tell ourselves, I'm going to go to the gym 7 days a week. I'm going to cut out all of this food. I'm going to be super diligent. And maybe we can do that for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, but eventually we fall off. Why is that? It's because the gap between where we are, our current level, and what we can handle, and where we're trying to be, or the things that we're trying to do, that gap is way too big. And so we always fall short. And so by doing this, we are setting ourselves up for failure in this way. So how do we overcome that? We start small. We start with what we are 100% confident that we can do, and we slowly step our way to our goals. And so that 6 days a week at the gym now becomes maybe 1 day or 2 days. Maybe it's just, hey, I'm going to walk for 10 minutes 3 times a week. And when you can start to be consistent with that, you start to build your self-confidence. You start to feel like, I can do this. And that's how you build momentum on this journey. Because if you continue to just do things that you fall short of, you are doing the opposite. You're actually lowering your self-confidence in yourself. So take things slowly, start small, start with what you feel comfortable doing, because you can always build yourself up from there. And then these things become your new baseline. And you might be thinking, it's just way too slow. This is going to be the slow route there. And you're actually right in the short term, because you'll definitely see a lot less weight loss compared to doing things extremely, hitting the gym every day of the week, cutting your calories very, very lowly. But in the long term, it's actually the fastest route there. All right, take this scenario. We have 2 different people. Person A loses 15 pounds in 2 months really, really quickly, but they gain it all back and then repeat this cycle of losing and gaining weight for the rest of their lives. Now, person B takes 6 months to lose the same 15 pounds, but is able to keep that off for the remainder of their life. Now, in these 2 scenarios, who is more successful? Is it the person who lost more weight faster, or is it the person who took double the amount of time, but was able to keep that weight off? And many of us are stuck in that cycle of being person A, of losing weight really, really quickly, but gaining it all back. And if we just continue that cycle, that can last our entire lives. So with all that being said, you won't notice, plus 5 XP here and there, small little wins throughout the journey. But over the course of weeks and months, you'll really start to see the fruits of your labor from the work that you're putting in. You start to level up. You'll feel better. You'll have more energy. You'll feel more confident. You'll get stronger. All right, so the big takeaway for this first section is to focus on the micro habits and not instant transformation. Number 2, boss battles and personal obstacles. On your journey, you'll have to deal with plateaus, cravings, stress, and the unpredicted curveballs that life loves to throw at us. And these are your boss battles. These are designed to test you, to prove that you've leveled up, but also to help you become the person who is able to keep the results when you get them. Because one of the worst things that could happen to you is for you to get everything that you ever wanted when you weren't ready to handle it. And not having it in the first place is so much better than having it and losing it. That's just in my personal opinion. It's because you had a taste for it. You know what it feels like. You know the pain of regret when you lose it. And I don't want that for you. Look at the people who win the lottery. Most of them go broke. They win millions of dollars and they lose it all. But why does that happen? And you might be thinking what I'm thinking. If I won multiple millions of dollars, I would be set for life. There's no way that I would lose it all. And well, the reason why this happens is because they didn't go through the process to get the money, besides going to the store and picking a lottery ticket. And so they haven't developed the habits or the mindset of a person who is able to be responsible for all of that money. They didn't learn about taxes or investing or how to control their spending habits. Instead, they bought themselves big mansions and fancy cars, and they bought their friends and their family mansions and cars, and they bought a scuba diving boat. Is that a thing, scuba diving boat? Anyways, they're just they're throwing money at things. And before they know it, it's all gone. So through trials and hard times, you build discipline. You build resiliency, you build good habits, and you develop good habits with food and yourself through that process. Now, you also have to realize that each boss in your life, each hardship in your life, you will need some form of adjustment. And so that means you have to be open-minded to do things differently, because if you're just approaching the same exact situation the same way every single time, you'll never overcome that obstacle. You'll never beat that boss. If you find yourself falling off track with your diet because you are too restrictive, you avoid all of the foods that you love and say, you can't have these are off limits. But then one day you finally crack and then you binge and you totally overeat on all of the things that you've been avoiding this whole time. And so try developing a healthier relationship with food. Have smaller portions of the things that you love, of your cravings, while they're small. And that way you are in more control of these actions, because if you keep pushing them off and saying these are off limits, they will stay in the back of your head and your cravings will only grow and grow and grow. And when you finally crack, you overeat. Then the floodgates happen and you totally binge or you overeat on these things. Think about it. How do you build any good relationship with another person? You spend time with them, you talk to them, you interact with them. Same way with food. How can you expect to build a healthy relationship with food if all you're doing is avoiding these things? You have to spend a little bit of time with them, moderate things. That's how you start to build that. Takeaway for this section: see struggle as a necessary boss battle to get you stronger, to build you up, and also for an opportunity to approach things differently. If this feels overwhelming for you and you just want someone in your corner to take all of the guesswork and confusion out of weight loss, the first link in the description will be a page where you can explore about what online coaching would look like with me. And that's where you can also apply if you think that coaching is what you need. All right, lastly, farming and side quests. Boring but essential habits. So when you're playing a game, farming and collecting items can feel very repetitive and boring. But without it, you can't build your weapons or your armor or your village. So when we're talking about weight loss, farming is tracking your food, meal prepping, getting your daily activity in, and drinking enough water. And in the beginning, when you're starting to build these habits, they're going to feel more difficult. They're going to feel more tedious. But that's the case for anything new. And the more that you do it, the easier they become, and the less that you have to think about doing them. And that's how you develop a habit. It's just like brushing your teeth. When you were a kid, your parents would bug you, go brush your teeth. And then you would throw a tantrum, but you would eventually do it. So in the beginning, it was difficult for you to do. You didn't want to do it. It was repetitive, it was boring. And so you had to use a lot of your mental energy to get yourself to do it. But now as an adult, it's a habit. You don't have to think about it. You just do it. So I want to encourage you. What feels hard now will not always feel that way. So find ways to make these boring tasks a little bit more fun for you. You can set goals and milestones, and when you reach these things, you reward yourself. If you stick to your workout routine that you've set for yourself for 2 whole weeks, go get a massage or go get a new gym outfit. It's important that you do something that you actually want and not something that's just like, I don't really care if I do it or not. You can also practice something called habit stacking. And that's just a fancy way to say you're doing something that you really like to do and pairing that with something that you really don't like to do. An example of this would be yesterday when I was playing my Game Boy SP while I was doing my 3-mile walk. I am currently in a fat loss phase myself, and so my weekly movement goal is 3-mile walks 3 times per week. It doesn't have to be playing video games. It could be watching anime, watching your favorite show, reading a book, listening to a podcast or audiobook. Whatever you like to do. All right, so what about side quests? These are all of the things that you don't commonly think about when you think about weight loss. And of course, you'll think about your diet, you'll think about your workouts when you're on this new journey. But through this process, you'll also be going through some side quests. Things like learning patience, setting boundaries, and how to manage your stress. Those are all of the little side quests and missions that only make you stronger as you go through this journey. Takeaway here is that the boring things all add up to huge wins. And also, health and fitness isn't just about your diet or your workouts. All right, we got a little bonus here. For those of you who have made it this far through the video, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with me. And so I hope this video was helpful for you. But life is a co-op and not a solo mission. What does that mean? You don't have to, or you shouldn't, play this game alone. Get some support. Find a friend, a family member, a coworker, a community, a coach, whoever can help support you or even go along on this journey with you. The lonely road can get tough, and all of us need someone there to pick us up from time to time. And I don't care who you are, but we cannot do this thing called life alone. We need other people. So find someone or a group of people to help you through this journey. And I hope that this channel, this community that we're building can be that for you if you don't have anyone. So that's it. YouTube will recommend a video of mine right now that it thinks you might like. So go check it out and let me know what you think. But until next time, I'll see you in the next one. Does that make sense? Anyways, bye.